but life happens. We've got Megan doing her thing with the isn't the Astros?
No, it's the
Um,
Sod Poodles, and it's the Arizona team.
Arizona, right? The Sod Poodles. Sorry. Yes. Um, Megan is busy with that, and we want to everybody. If you could just send Jen some positive thoughts, prayers, however you want to do that, because I'm sure she would appreciate that. She will not be with us tonight, but she is always with us. So,
He's here in spirit with us. You know that.
absolutely. Candy, how's your week been?
Crazy, crazy, but it is what it is. What am I going to say? I work for a company and we have good benefits. And so some of my employees decided to use those benefits, including sick time. And not just one, not just, I'm like two the same day. I'm like, oh my goodness. So it's been kind of crazy. It's kind of busy. Like, we've got a lot going on at work. But other than that, I can't really complain. I mean, I just came off Saturday. We went down to Miami for Miami Hurricanes spring football game, so that was cool. How about you? How's your week going?
Well, you know, it was actually a great weekend. I got to see both of my sisters. We did a little bit of work at my parents' house. Um, and the sun is shining and it's starting to turn lots of green around here. So how can you be sad when it is green outside?
It's always
Everything's
green
new.
there.
It's always green. Well,
Sorry.
season.
That's
But
one of the things I will always tell when people say about like living down here in Florida, because I lived many years up in Wisconsin and you had the change of seasons. I miss the change of seasons because it's always green here.
Well, I have told people that I like traveling through the seasons because it shows promise of hope. And then, even nature has to have a time of rest. So I like how the seasons kind of take us from rest to new hope, new growth, to status quo, to it's time to close this chapter and go into another season of rest. So that's how I've always viewed it. I do not like to be extremely cold. I do not like to be extremely hot, but I love the passage seasons just because it shows me that even in our dormant or darkest times, new hope is coming. So
Exactly.
there, I'll get off my little sorry, but that's just how I've always. It gives me hope in the winter that knowing that spring is coming. So.
Exactly.
Well, honestly, we are in a very busy time for the sports. There is nothing that is not going. We've got, even in the college level, you've got because you were just there this weekend, the spring ball going live. We've got brand new coaches that in the NFL that have already started, since they're rookie coaches, they're already starting practices with them. So lots to talk about. I'm going to kick it off because since we do not have our Queen of Hoops today, we understand, but we're going to talk about I'm just going to do a rundown of the top 12 draft picks. So when we get closer to the WNBA launching this season, we'll have the Queen of Hoops on to give us more in depth because this is her jam. But I'm going to try to slightly fill in for her. And she's got really big shoes to fill.
She does.
She does, but we'll do. I mean, like, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So that was last night. It was quite the ordeal. Some very fancy, I don't want to say costumes, but dress up. They looked amazing. That was kind of fun to see all of that happen. But as there was no shocker to anyone, number one overall was Paige Buckers from UConn, and she is now part of Dallas. Sorry, here, right? I'm saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, so she's gone to Dallas as the number one overall pick. We have number two. She's coming in from France. It's Dominique Malagna, and I may have said that really wrong, and I apologize. She is going to Seattle. We've got in the third. I apologize for the names because I do phonetically, and we're just stuck with that. Sorry, guys. Sonia Citron. She was from Notre Dame, and she is going to go to the Mystics. We have in at 4 from USC, Kiki Irifran, and she will be handling, she's also going to the Mystics, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, going to the Mystics. So good luck to her as well. 5th overall was Justy Joist, and I probably messed that up. She was coming in from Lithuania. She is going to an expansion team, the Valkyries. So that's exciting to see that they are now on the board with picking up people. Number 6 was Georgia Amore from Kentucky, and she is going to the Mystics. Number 7, Anish Morrow from LSU is joining the where is she going?
Connecticut?
Yes, the Connecticut Sun. Okay, I was reading it as the Sun Times, and my mind was shortchanging there. Okay, number 8, we have Sania Rivers from NC State. She's going to the Sun as well.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her hair last night, and she's got pretty. I just like that. Something I will never be able to pull off personally, but I love it when people have the bright color hair. Just so I think that's pretty awesome. All right, Sarah Ashley Barker was drafted 9 from Alabama. She is going to be with Kelsey Plum on the Spark. Need for the Sparks, major need for the Sparks. So yes, congratulations to her. 10 is Ajasa Sabaka. She's from Slovenia. She will be joining the Sky. We have Haley Van Lith from TCU was number 11, and she will be going to sorry, who am I reading? I'm trying to skim real quick on this little thing.
Minnesota.
She's going to the Sky too.
Yep.
Yep, she is going to the Sky. And finally, in at 12, we have Ajaha James. Don't know if I said that wrong. From NC State, and she will be. Where is she going? Dallas. So she's going down there with Paige.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a very exciting. We've got some very exciting things. I did notice that Paige is also going to. She signed a contract with the 3-on-3. Which one? What is that?
Unrivaled.
And she will make more than in a year with Unrivaled than she will with the rookie contract. But that's exciting things because it's keeping our players from having to go abroad and then running into any issues of getting back into the country. And, Brittany Griner was one, and who knows how many others out there have had the struggle. So that's a nice thing that Unrivaled does, is it allows the WNBA players to stay in America and play basketball.
The thing that gets me though is that there are some of the girls that if they had stayed in college with NIL money make more money than if they go to the WNBA. Something's wrong with that. Like this whole system, they need to figure out.
Well, and I hear a lot of people complain like, well, the WNBA isn't making money like the NBA. The NBA didn't make money like, wasn't it 20 years before they went to the green? So I really feel like that, I believe even Megan told us that the WNBA is near break even. So, I mean, the WNBA is growing faster than the NBA did. So hopefully that is something that, while it won't be the same contract levels as the men's, we're going to start seeing more and more open there, especially with the new cities and so the new franchises coming in. That's exciting. That just shows a lot of things are happening in the WNBA, and I know us chicks cannot be more excited about that for them.
it was cool. I have to say that because when I was at the women's Final Four, I got to see Paige play in person, and it just is it it didn't shock me because obviously we've heard her name and stuff like that, but to see someone play in person after you've heard about her and stuff like that, the way she takes command of the team and and stuff like that was just really cool to see. So I wish all of them good luck.
Absolutely. I mean, it's exciting. And I was thinking about this. I can't remember if it was yesterday or today, but we've got so much, and we're going to talk about different things that are happening across the different sports coming up. But just imagine, I was trying to imagine what it would feel like to be these, I'll say kids because they are much younger than me, these kids that are starting out in the professional league, and how exciting that is, that that they've worked their entire lives. I mean, we heard Paige say something about wanting this since she was 5 years old. So here we are. She has lived her dream, and she's now meeting that, and how exciting that has to be to reach that pinnacle of success. Yeah. So all these kids, and I am going to call them kids, all these kids, regardless of what their sport is, and wherever their pinnacle is, we have to celebrate those that put their heart and soul on the floor or on the field, and theirs ended with their college career, and that amazing still. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's pretty. I was just thinking how exciting that would be, and I was trying to imagine it. And I don't know that I've had anything that could compare to reaching that type of pinnacle. I mean, I've had some pretty exciting things personally happen, very happy things, but just can't imagine that. So hats off to them. I'm so excited for everyone that has reached those goals. Exactly. Candy, did you want to, as I've mentioned a couple times, you've mentioned that, it's a fantastic time to be a sports fan because of so many things going across all the major leagues. Do you want to share with us what's coming up this weekend?
So
even tonight.
Since we're talking about basketball and we were talking about the WNBA, the NBA actually starts their playoff season tonight. It's actually going right now. The play-in tournaments are happening. So right now you have the Atlanta Hawks taking on the Orlando Magic. And then later tonight you have the Memphis Grizzlies against the Golden State Warriors. Then tomorrow night, Miami Heat plays the Chicago Bulls and the Dallas Mavericks play the Sacramento Kings. Saturday is when actually the first round then, because those are both play-ins. So the Bucks take on the Pacers, the Clippers take on the Nuggets, Pistons take on the Knicks, and the Timberwolves take on the Lakers. And then from there, I don't think they've announced anything further. That's a little too far in advance, but those are the teams that are in right now and who's going to be playing. And it'll be interesting to see some interesting lineups. I can tell you, since everybody knows I'm from Wisconsin and I'm obviously a Milwaukee Buck fan, Damian Lillard has been ruled out for the beginning of the playoffs. He's still dealing with those blood clots, and they're saying there's a very good chance, depending on how far they would get, that we will see him. Just depends on how far the Bucks can get without him. So we wish him obviously good health, because that's the first and foremost before anything else.
Correct. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff, actually. I know that some of I've seen posts like they don't like to play in tournament, but honestly, if you're getting to watch basketball and that's your jam, you're going to want everything you want. I did remember, Monica McNutt was talking about this one day this last week where, the best of seven. And by the time you get to the end, to the pinnacle of the championship, she's like, you're just kind of praying that there's no 7 game because you're exhausted by the time you reach that.
But yeah, as a fan, most of us want the 7 games, so it's depending on which side of the fence you're on.
Correct. I mean, but at the same time, this is your Mount Everest. And once you get to the top, it's done. There's no well, next we've got one more peak. No, you're done. You're done.
Exactly. And people that talk about the play-in tournament and don't like it on a one-game basis, what did you do in college? March Madness is one and done. So you're it. And there's one quote that I love and I never forget it. And it says, losing hurts worse than winning feels good.
Yes. As a fan, you feel that tremendously. And Lord knows that I have really been tender about the Super Bowl, not because I didn't want it was obvious who was the better team that night and all this, but it still makes you tender.
Yep.
Because dang it. I mean, I had to cancel hotel rooms because I was going to go to Kansas City. So, I mean, as a fan, you have those. I can't even, again, back to trying to imagine what it feels like as a player, or a coach. I can't even, if I'm feeling that, I don't have the blood that has been invested. I don't have the blood, bruises, and sweat that I've invested in my part, my part of the deal. So yeah, can't imagine what the pain is of losing. You're right.
Speaking of playoffs, the NHL ends their regular season this week too. So they have games tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday nights, the end of their regular season. And then they start playoffs too. So if you're a hockey fan, if you're a basketball fan, obviously we know baseball's going on right now.
Right.
So those are the major ones. Oh, wait, there's one more. Kari, were you going to talk about what's happening next week?
Oh, well, there's NASCAR too. So we don't want to forget those because, Jen goes to our NASCAR events for us. We also have the NFL draft next week. Yay! That's kind of exciting.
It is.
So the three chicks will be talking about the NFL draft a little bit more, possibly depending on how many of us can be on. We will be talking about our hopes and dreams of who's joining our team. I did see, and I wish I could had pulled this up. It was interesting to see how many. See if I can find it real quick while I'm talking. The amount of Pro Bowl players that each team had drafted. So it's not the same as how many people on your team went to the Pro Bowl. It's who you were able to pick out. And here it is. Pulling it up right now. So it's who they were able to pick as a clay to mold into a professional player. Baltimore, since 2000, Baltimore has drafted 34 players that end up being Pro Bowlers. And Dallas as well. So they're tied with 34. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. And then your Green Bay, 30.
Okay.
My Chiefs, the Lions, both have 29 they've drafted. And to round out the top 26 with 26 players to the Pro Bowl is Seattle and the Chargers. So it's kind of interesting. It's also very interesting to see that at the bottom of the league, you've got Cleveland has drafted 17 that made it to the Pro Bowl. Tampa Bay's only drafted 16. Rams have only drafted 14. And my friend Phil's Raiders, 12. Wah, wah. So kind of interesting. Someone had pointed out that New England was with only 21 was at the bottom. And I'm like, that seems about accurate if you think about it, because when Tom was keeping his salary lower, they were able to go pick up these rookies that had already been played and showing potential and get them and give them some decent money. So I wasn't shocked that they only had 21 because, again, they had money. New England had money to play with for quite a while until Tom left. So that doesn't surprise me. I love the fact that these teams at the top, though, are as you know, you see the Ravens, you see Green Bay, you see Kansas City, you see Detroit. Those are four powerhouses right now in the NFL. It doesn't matter which way you cut it. You've got two NFC and two AFC and two NFC. I was saying it right. They're at the top that have done really well in the draft. Doesn't surprise me the Chiefs are up there because in the last 7 years we've been able to pick up some pretty phenomenal players, and bring them in from college and put them in plug them in. That was kind of cool to me. So sorry about that little.
No, it's okay.
Mediation.
Our feel good story.
Yes, you want to share that because that was you had all the little background there, so that's kind of neat.
So, if any of you, and we don't normally talk about golf, but we're going to talk about it because everybody's talking about it. And how do you not? So, Rory McIlroy finally got his jacket. I want to say this was his 17th time he's played the Masters.
That sounds about right.
I can tell you that they thought for a minute that he was going to lose it because he actually had to go to a playoff. He won. He was winning as of the 17th hole. He was up. He actually bogeyed the 18th hole, and therefore somebody else caught him. They had to do a playoff round. Ironically, my husband and I were just turning it on because 60 Minutes follows, and we were going to watch 60 Minutes, and we got to watch the playoff round. So it was cool. It was cool to see. The playoff round was him and Justin Rose. When he won, he went down to his knees and he was crying. He was like so elated and just raw emotions, which was really good to. It's so nice to see because sometimes you don't see that from professional athletes.
Correct. Well, that's back to that whole hitting your pinnacle.
Mm-hmm.
And there he did.
This was his career Grand Slam. So this was the last tournament that he needed to complete the Grand Slam, which is always so impressive. I think there's only been 6 golfers, I think, that have ever done the Grand Slam, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 6. I had it before, but it don't escape me now.
Did you happen to see Nike's commercial for him?
I did not.
So it's showing that at a dry cleaner, where the clothes come around, and Rory, and it talks about, and it says Rory, and then it finally comes up, and it's the covered bag that the coat comes in, hanging up there. It's always been waiting for you, is what it says on the outside of the bag. So I thought that was really kind of cool because, yeah, he's finally made it. This was what he was wanting, and it was an acknowledgement that he got what he'd been looking for. So that's pretty exciting. Congratulations, Rory.
Awesome. Well, Kari, I always I always leave the show right about now because I hop on over to South Florida Tribune's YouTube channel because we do Inside the Pigskin and talk football. So, but I'm so glad we got a chance to talk sports.
I enjoyed that. Yes, Candy has her heart out at 7. Make sure you follow, if you're on Candy's, following Candy or South Florida Tribune, jump on to Inside the Pigskin. Unfortunately, I cannot be there tonight, so sorry, Scott. Please ask again.
We will.
We do wish you all a great evening. If you have anything you would like for us to cover, anything that we have missed, or something sensational, you know how to reach us. We are all on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, any social media platform. We've got someone there. You can always find us, reach out to us through our Facebook page, 3 Chicks in a Pod. We love our audience. We appreciate your love and support. And we will see you again next week. Thanks for joining us. Candy, have fun on your show.
Thanks. You too. Get rid of that migraine.